हेलो, आई शशि भूषण तिवारी वेलकम यू ऑल। पाथफाइंडर बुक से लिया हुआ रे ऑप्टिक्स के ऊपर एक छोटा सा कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्वेश्चन करेंगे। किसी न किसी ओलंपियाड में आया हुआ क्वेश्चन रहा होगा ये। आइए पढ़ लेते हैं आज के अपने क्वेश्चन को। अ कन्वर्जिंग लेंस ऑफ फोकल लेंथ f इज यूज्ड टू कास्ट एन इमेज ऑफ एन ऑब्जेक्ट एज शोन इन द फिगर। दिस इज द फिगर, दिस इज ए कन्वर्जिंग लेंस. This is an object and image of this object is formed on a screen. Distance of the object from the lens is 1.25 f, where f stands for focal length of the lens. So the upper half of the lens is now covered by an opaque coating. This part of the lens is now covered with some opaque material. Which of the following statements is most appropriate after the upper half has been covered? The upper half of the image is brighter than its lower half. Lower half of the image is brighter than its upper half. Entire portion of the image appears with uniformly reduced brightness. Entire portion of the image appears with reduced brightness, but to predict intensity distribution, more information is required. Which is most appropriate? That is what we are supposed to decide. Now, just to give you a hint, let me tell you, read this phrase carefully. Upper half of the image, lower half of the image, entire portion of the image, entire portion of the image. I am underlining this. Give it a thought, pause the video and then look at my arguments. The question is fairly straightforward if you read it properly. First thing that you should take a note of is, it is a convex lens and the object is placed at a distance that is greater than focal length. That means beyond the focus. Object is located somewhere here. For sake of simplicity, let us say this object has only 2 points. This is one point A and this is another point B. Just think of 2 points A and B. Now this object has been placed beyond focus, so a real image will be cast on this side, and that's why the question says the image is taken on the screen. So a real image can only be taken on the screen. Now this part of the lens has been covered with some opaque material, so this will not allow the light to pass through it. Remaining half, the lower half of the lens, only transmits light. I hope all of you know that position of image will not change because of this act of yours. If you cover the upper half of the lens, position of the image is not going to change. That is one thing. But brightness, yes, it will suffer. The overall brightness will reduce, no doubt about it, but the question asks you to compare which point, A or B, which point will be brighter in its image. That is what you need to decide. So it is not at all difficult if you look at it like this. Suppose point A is the only point object. It is a point object. Forget about other points in this body. Just think of point A. From point A, light energy is being emitted three-dimensionally like this. Out of this energy, the light energy that was contained inside this cone, that falls on the lens. Suppose you have not coated the upper half of the lens right now. The lens is full complete lens transmitting light. So from the point A, light energy that is incident on this lens is actually contained inside this cone kind of thing. So this whole energy, light energy, gets transmitted and all this energy gets focused at one single point, which is image of point A. I am not showing the ray diagram. But you all know that image will be formed at far away distance. You can calculate using lens formula. But all these rays which are starting from point A, they all will reach this particular point A1, and the entire light energy that is contained inside this cone will reach at point A1. Now, if you coat the lens upper half with an opaque material, then this part of the light energy, just focus on point A, this part of the light energy will not get transmitted, right? It has been blocked. Only this part of the light energy will get transmitted. So at point A1, light which is passing through this lower half of the lens will be able to reach, right? Now, just by observation, one can say that if the entire light energy that is incident on the lens starting from point A is divided into two conical parts. Let us think of this cone and this cone. Which one is having more light energy? Obviously this one, because this solid angle is higher than this solid angle. So if you divide the entire light energy that is starting from A and hitting the lens in two parts, then obviously light energy that was contained inside this conical part was higher than light energy that was contained here. So in simple language, more than half of the energy that used to hit the lens starting from point A has been eliminated. यहाँ से चलने वाली जितनी लाइट एनर्जी लेंस से पास होती थी उसका हाफ से ज़्यादा आपने एलिमिनेट कर दिया है. तो ऑब्वियसली पॉइंट ए विल हैव एन इमेज दैट विल बी quite less bright. On the contrary, this point, which is here, the lower end of the object, point B, earlier light ray contained inside this cone was transmitted through this lens. Now what has happened? This part is getting blocked, but this part is getting transmitted. Again, all of you can see, simple observation, that this angle, solid angle I should say, is higher than this solid angle. Just from observation you can see that. So what happens? If the entire light energy starting from B hitting the lens surface was, let us say, E, then more than half of it is getting transmitted. More than half of it. So obviously for point B also the image will have reduced intensity, but the reduction in intensity will not be that large as in the case of point A. पॉइंट ए के केस में जो लाइट ट्रांसमिट हो रही है लेंस से, इट इज़ लाइट एनर्जी जो ट्रांसमिट हो रही है, इट इज़ लेस देन 50% ऑफ ओरिजिनल वैल्यू, वेयर एज फॉर पॉइंट बी इट इज़ मोर देन 50% ऑफ ओरिजिनल वैल्यू. स्टिल you are likely to mark a wrong answer. Yes, you can still mark wrong answer because you forget that image is inverted. So image is inverted means in actual image B is here, A is here. So actually this part of the image is brighter. So the upper half of the image that you will see is brighter, lower half will be less bright compared to it. I hope I have been able to explain you this question. See you in the next video.